And welcome to our webinar today on this beautiful sunny day. I hope everybody is well and welcome along to our 25th webinar. Today we're absolutely delighted to have Sarah Lyons, the Mammy Coach, who is a body confidence coach. So this is very timely, I suppose, this time of year as we head into the summer and we're beginning to reveal more skin and getting out there to the beaches and into our summer dresses that haven't seen the light of day for a long time. So yeah, very timely. So just a little bit about us before we start. We started off as Employ Mum in 2015, and we branched out then to Employflex in 2019. We're all about flexible work, about leveling the playing field in the workplace for everybody in the workplace so that nobody has to leave for any reason. So when we talk about flexible work, we talk about part-time, job share, remote work, obviously at the moment very popular, hybrid working, term time, compressed hours, annual hours, and we're mainly recruitment. So we recruit for companies in the flexible work field. So we also run these webinars. We were doing them every week. We do them about twice a month now, and we have a range of different speakers. As I said, we're delighted to have Sarah Lyons here today. Sarah is a body confidence and well-being coach for mums, and she works with mums all over the country to help them feel comfortable and confident in their bodies. She is passionate about teaching mums the benefits of having body confidence so that they in turn can teach their children. I think it's so important. I have a teenage daughter, 16, and a son, 14 as well. And it's so important, I think, in this age of relentless social media imaging that we have that inner confidence in ourselves. So I'm going to hand you over to Sarah now. She's going to run through her presentation. If you have any questions as she goes through it, you can pop them into the Q&A feature, which is at the bottom of your screen there if you hover, and pop your questions in there and she'll be glad to answer them at the end of her presentation. So over to you, Sarah. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thanks, Karen, and thank you for having me today. I am really delighted to be here to share my body confidence formula. So I'm just going to share the screen and I will get started. So my name is Sarah Lyons. I am a body confidence and well-being coach for mums and for all women as well. I empower mums to start looking after their own well-being, start looking after their bodies, start loving their bodies and developing self-acceptance. And as a coach, I help women move on if they're stuck in careers, if they're stuck in motherhood, if they're just feeling stuck in their life, and help them live a fabulous life. So I am a mum of two girls, Charlotte and Annabelle. I live in Dublin in Ireland, and I am just so passionate about sharing the body confidence message because, as Karen said, it is, our children are surrounded all the time by images from Instagram and TV and everything, and there's this constant visual aspect to them. And what I try and teach is to accept your own body as it is, and then in turn, when you start doing using those tools and learning how to accept your body, it filters down to your children. So then that's showing them, because we are their biggest influencers in life. So how did I get into body confidence coaching? So I also have another business where I work as an image consultant. And I started that about 5 years ago. And what I found was when I was working with my clients, I was finding a lot of women were really, really, uncomfortable in their bodies. They were really unconfident. They didn't like how their bodies looked. They didn't like how their bodies felt. They just felt, disconnected. And I was able to help them overcome the outside bit with dressing correctly, what colors, what styles, things like that. But I didn't have the skill set to connect with them on a deeper level and help them to start loving their bodies and accepting themselves how they are. So I trained to be an image consultant, body confidence coach with the Institute for Body Confidence Coaching. And while I was studying for that coaching, I had to look really into how I felt about my body. And it turns out that I had a lot of work to do, even though I was outwardly confident. Public speaking was okay. If you needed a prayer of the faithful done at mass, or, for a reading or anything like that, I was your woman. But honestly, my connection to myself was a little bit off. So in doing the work on myself, I'm now able to help other women develop their own be comfortable in themselves and really accept their authentic selves of who they are, because then everything else falls into place, as it did for me. So what is the body confidence formula? So these are the same steps that I would have taken to help boost my own body confidence. So basically, first thing is how to start loving yourself, self-compassion, and how to start listening to your body. Because our body is our physical home in this lifetime. It's where we live. It's how we experience life. It's, we feel our emotions, everything like that is encapsulated in our body. So this quote really spoke to me, and I only found it very recently. So motherhood is the noblest of causes, but it is not necessary to lose ourselves in the process. And the lady who wrote that, she's a blogger from the States. She's a mommy blogger. And I just felt it summed up. Now, it doesn't have to relate to motherhood on its own. This could relate to, a career, a relationship, anything like that. Because what happens is, and especially in motherhood, from my own case, is that we start to put our needs above, or we start to put everyone else's needs above our own. And when that happens, we're not taking care of ourselves physically or emotionally. We're not, even sometimes, washing our faces or even having a shower, because we're so focused on everyone else's needs and wants. And when that starts to happen and we're not looking after ourselves, we start to feel depressed. We start to feel, unloved, unworthy, and all these negative thoughts start to creep into our mind. It's like that we don't matter. So when we're in the throes of motherhood, it can really be overwhelming, but there is a way, and we can start looking after ourselves. So this is really important for all the moms out there today. So these are some of the things that I have felt as a woman and as a mother, and especially after I had my second daughter, who is quite small in this photo. And I picked this photo because this is me at a time where I was probably at the height of my body confidence crisis, where I was doing mad stuff, over exercising, under eating, trying to compete against other moms, other women that I saw, out running in the park. I just felt totally like that I wasn't living up to, as a woman and as a mother, especially as a mother, I just felt, and even though this was my second child, this didn't happen on my first child. This happened on my second child, where I thought, oh, look, you've done this before. You have a second one now, but you'd be fine. So just deal with it. And then I started to slip way more down into these negative feelings, and felt really, even though I'm smiling in that photo, I felt really bad about myself in that picture. So not thin enough. Absolutely. Not fit enough. Yep. Forgotten who I really was. And that's a big thing when we're lacking body confidence. It's because our identity has been lost. Our identity has been forgotten. We may have gone from having a full-time job to being part-time job. We've gone from being in the workplace to being at home all the time, and having children that are just, need you 24/7. So you get eroded your identity. So identity in motherhood is really, I'm really passionate about helping moms get that back, because you're not gone, you're just a little bit fragile and need to be built up. So disconnected from my life. Yeah, because I was disconnected from myself. I was miserable. I was overwhelmed, isolated. I felt body shame because I wasn't living up to this so-called, expectation of a mother, this perfect mother. I wasn't living up. So I was ashamed of my body, and I doubted my abilities as a woman and as a person, because, this was something new that I hadn't experienced before, and it really made me doubt myself. So when we talk about body confidence is essential for living our happiest and best life. So when we have body confidence, we are connected to ourselves, and then everything around us starts to fall into place. So we are happier and we are healthier because we're connected and we're looking after our body. As I said, our body is our home in this lifetime. So we need to look after it and we need to be connected to it. So what body confidence has taught me, so that you can feel good in your body, knowing it's fabulous at any size or shape, and this is really important, being able to accept the changes that happen to your body. Because as none of us have the body we had 10 years ago, so when we're able to accept where we are at this moment in time and the changes that are going to happen as we get older, after we have children, after we've lost weight, put on weight, anything like that, just even the aging process, our body is changing. And once we accept that, we're onto a winner. So you can find fulfillment, you can nourish your soul. I have a positive relationship with food now, which I actually thought my relationship with food was quite healthy, but it turned out it wasn't. I'll get onto that later on. So we can break our self-limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves. We can create a new story for ourselves. I'm kinder. I am kinder to myself. So in turn, I'm kinder to others. I have increased energy, and I'm not comparing myself to others. I'm not comparing myself to others, because there's this constant rating going on in society that, we're trying to measure up to other people. Body confidence and being totally comfortable with myself has totally eliminated that. I'm not comparing myself and I'm not rating myself, because it's impossible to rate me against anyone else, as it is for you. So I just want you to think for a second. What does body confidence look like to you? What does it mean? Because it means different things to different people. And what does it mean to you in your life? Does it mean that you would go for a promotion at work? Does it mean you'd start a new relationship, leave a bad relationship, feel confident as a mother and feel confident as a woman? Would it mean, you would be able to stand up in front of your peers or your colleagues and give a presentation? What does it feel like? Or would it feel that you would just be happy in yourself? And that you would just be comfortable in yourself and just be relaxed with yourself and happy? Because our body's job is to keep us happy and healthy. That's what it always wants for us. It wants to keep us happy and healthy. That's its job. That's, as I said, it's where we live. It's our home. It's our physical home. So what does it look like to you in your life? Just to start thinking about that. So if you've been struggling with body confidence, it's probably because you were disconnected from yourself and you've been looking to external factors, like outside of you, for your happiness, for your fulfillment, and for your well-being. So the whole point of body confidence is to reconnect back to be your authentic self. So who's body confidence for, or who is this webinar for? So this is for moms, for women, for anyone who is feeling disconnected from themselves, not comfortable in themselves, have maybe put on weight and just, don't know how to release it, or maybe are just feeling uncomfortable and can't accept the changes that are happening to their body, are struggling with body image, have just want to feel good in themselves. And maybe you're sick and tired of dieting. Maybe you're sick and tired of being on these constant diets and this roller coaster of feeling good, feeling bad. And we think that this is a healthy relationship with food, when it's actually not, and it's doing us more damage than we think. So it is for anyone that wants to reconnect back and live their happiest life. So my goal for this webinar is to give you some tools to start loving your body straight away. So we're going to go through the formula, which is 3 things that you can start to do today that will just start to reconnect you to yourself and start loving your body. So the first one is, how do I start loving my body? How do we do it? you know, it's easier said than done, but here is a starting point. Smile. Smile at yourself. Smile. It is scientifically proven that you literally can't be in bad form or feel bad when you're smiling. I invite you to try it, because I've tried it, and I do a lot of smiling when I'm stuck in traffic, because instead of getting irritated, I smile and I go, it's okay. And it's amazing how it can transform. It transforms your face. You know, you start to feel better, the feelings that it releases endorphins. This is scientifically proven. So smile. If you can smile at yourself in the mirror and accept what you're seeing and smile, you are starting to reconnect to yourself, because we do have to look at ourselves in the mirror, and we do have to like what we see. So the first thing I invite you to do is to start smiling at yourself in the mirror. Now, you're saying, okay, yeah, right, Sarah, this is going to help me, but it is. And at the start, it's going to be, you know, feel weird. It is. You know, the first time I did it, I was like, oh my God, but I persisted. And like anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets and the better you start to feel. So literally just relax, stand in front of the mirror and start smiling at yourself. Start smiling at what you see. You're amazing. You're magnificent. You are unique in every possible way. So smile at yourself. Do you remember, if you have children, do you remember the first time your child saw himself or herself in the mirror? Do you remember that absolute, oh my God, they've just discovered someone in the mirror? And what did they do? They smiled. Because babies and children are like the most mindful beings. And if you ever observe them, they're just living in the moment. They're so self-accepting. They love their bodies. They love what their bodies can do. So we were that way once. So if we can just take a cue from them and smile at ourselves in the mirror. And if you ever watch toddlers or anything like that, and they find a mirror and they smush their face up against it and they give themselves a big kiss, you know, that's just showing you how accepting they are of themselves. So we need to think about that. So smiling is the first thing we need to start doing to love and accept ourselves. And then the next one, another thing is, it's your mindset. Like, where are you at? You know, you do have, you know, the ability to change your mind and change how you feel about your body, and thus getting more body confidence. So you need to start questioning, what's holding me back from loving my body? Like, what is it? Like, write it down, get really deep, see what it is. Because once you can start to address that, you are starting to move forward. And what's standing in your way? Is there a person? Is there a thing? What is actually standing in your way of you loving your body? What is it? So once we identify, it's easier to make the changes. And that's what body confidence coaching is all about. It's about making the positive, long-lasting. So as Albert Einstein said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So this is where we change our mindset. This is where we can change our story about our body. Everybody has a story. And a lot of the time that story was created in our little life. So it's to do with our environment. It's to do with the people that surrounded us, whether it was a positive or a negative environment, or whether bodies were seen as positive or negative. So we can change that thinking. And just because you have a body story doesn't mean you can't change it and you can't start thinking differently about your body. So that's where the mindset shift comes in. And then a third thing that you can do to start loving yourself is affirmations. And these, I actually love these on Instagram and social media. I really think if you look into them and read them, you know, they do have a lovely message. And affirmations are just, you know, sentences or words, and you just repeat them and repeat them until you start to feel a shift. So some of my favorite ones are, I am worthy. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am smart, and I am capable of achieving greatness. And if you do any journaling or you have a diary or anything like that, affirmations are a great way of getting, them down on paper. So writing things down has a really great effect because you're actually physically doing it. And even if you just write it like 10 times, you start to believe it. And if you can say the affirmations into a mirror to yourself, wow, it is fantastic. So then the second step in the body confidence formula is how to develop self-compassion. So self-compassion is when we give ourselves the same care and kindness that we would give to a good friend. So we're not really living our happiest and healthiest life if we're constantly giving our love and affection away to other people, but yet we're talking really harshly and unkindly and treating ourselves terribly. Self-compassion has to be all-inclusive, and it has to include yourself. So self-compassion is one of the cornerstones to body confidence. And one of the best ways we can start is by speaking kinder words to ourselves. So if you're constantly in a negative, state of mind, or you're constantly using negative words, because words have power. And when we're saying negative things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, oh, I look terrible, that's just reinforcing the negative emotions and the negative feelings. So we're never really going to start to get out of that until we change that and say, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I look good today, and because we need to change it around. We need to be our own best friend and start being kinder to ourselves. And self-compassion means being your own best friend. So actually doing the things that you would do for a best friend, but just doing them for yourself. So say if your friend rings you up and says, oh, I'm just so fed up, I can't do anything right, I'm all over the place, can't get a job, can't get a boyfriend, can't get all of these things, and I'm just not good enough, and I'm not thin enough, and all these kind of crack. What are you going to say? What are you going to say to her? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are all of those things. Yeah, you shouldn't really bother. Yeah, just stay at home. Okay, hold up. Not a chance are you going to say those things to one of your best friends. What are you going to say to her instead? You will say, hold up. You are amazing. You are beautiful. Never mind what anyone else thinks. You're fabulous. So why do we find it so hard to turn that in on ourselves? It can be hard, but we need to start doing it because that is going to help us feel confident and feel loved. We need to love ourselves first. So be your own best friend. And loving yourself means being your own best friend, standing by yourself at all times, and including times of failure. And it's actually especially in times of failure, because there's no point in being there for yourself and then you make a mistake, something happens, and then you just go, oh, you're no good now again. Look at that. No, you need to be there and connected to yourself and to stand by yourself in times of failure. And failure, you can always learn something from it. Any failure, you can always learn from it. So the third step in the body confidence formula is how to start listening to your body. You may think that's a little bit, far-fetched. Oh, we need to listen to our body. But our body is talking to us every minute of every day. As I said, it's its job to keep us happy and healthy. So we need to start listening. So if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. So what I mean by that is if we listen to the subtle reminders, the nudges, that gut feeling, that gut instinct, where we have pain, Where am I tense? You know, if we listen to that, we don't have to hear our body scream, as in we don't have to hear our body, you know, something massive doesn't have to happen for us to stand, you know, start listening. Because listening to our body is about, you know, keeping us happy, keeping us healthy, and connecting to ourselves. So what are you listening for? Our body, as I said, is talking to us all the time, 24/7. It's a magnificent, you know, way of, you know, trying to keep us healthy. So what am I listening for? That gut feeling. Oh my God, that gut feeling, that intuition. Your tummy area holds all your wisdom. It's all in the tummy area here. Okay. So that gut feeling is your intuition. So your intuition, you know, will kick in when it wants you to start questioning something where it's, you know, there might be a bit of danger where you feel threatened or anything like that. So always connect to that gut feeling. You know, always connect. Listen, stop for a minute and listen. You may choose to go on, you know, and do what your gut feeling is telling you not to do, but just if you listen and acknowledge that that gut feeling has come up for you, that is a major thing for starting to listen to your body. Where is your body tense? I don't know whether any of you have ever heard of a body scan. It's where you lie down on the bed and you just close your eyes and start from the top of your head and go down through all the parts of your body. And just to scan, you're just scanning for emotions, you're scanning for feelings, for tenseness, for pain. It's just a great way of checking in with yourself. So where is my body tense? Maybe you hold a lot of tension in your shoulders. I know that that's where my tension was. And at one stage, I actually felt like my shoulders were up around my ears. So I literally had to train myself to say, relax your shoulders, Sarah. And now it's just, I do it automatically. But when I feel that I'm under pressure or I am in a tense situation, this is what happens. And then I go, okay, I'm acknowledging the tension, and where is that tension coming from? I'm looking to see what's happening around me. Why is that tension creeping up? And one of the biggest things for me was, am I hungry? And I'll get onto that in more detail, but like hunger is your body's way of telling you you're physically hungry and it needs nourishment. Okay. And then another one is, what's the pain? Pain is our body's way of telling you there's something happening, there's something wrong. Okay. So instead of, you know, like I used to do, reaching for the Sulpalene, reaching for the Nurofen or anything like that, just to, you know, we don't want to acknowledge the negative feelings, you know, let's take a painkiller and it'll go away. But just stop for a moment before you do that and just say, where is this pain coming from? You know, obviously, if it's an obvious pain, like you may have broken your leg or broken your arm or something, that you know where the pain is coming from. But sometimes we get random pains, like a pain in your back, pain in your knee, pain in your toe. Like, where is that pain coming from? What happened? Maybe I don't know whether it happens to anyone else, but you know, when you're getting in and out of the car and you bang your knee and it's maybe not sore at the time. And then, you know, 2 days later, you have a massive bruise and it's kind of sore. And you're like, what happened? You know, so looking to see where that pain is coming from. And sometimes maybe you've just been sitting or lying in the wrong position. And, you know, that pain is from the way you were sitting or the way you were lying. And then maybe just the next time you might just, okay, well, that pain is from that. Maybe I'll sit in a different chair. I'll sit in a different position. Maybe I need a cushion. So acknowledging the pain, because once we acknowledge the pain and say, I hear you, I'm here for you, then we're very connected to our body and we're listening. So then we can do something about it. And the last thing there is, what way does my body like to move? Now, there's a difference between movement and exercise. Like, we all need a little bit of exercise to keep us healthy and to keep our bodies moving. That's part of life and that's part of keeping us happy and healthy. But what way does your body like to move? You know, the body needs to be stretched. It needs to be, you know, I suppose just stretched out is the best thing to describe it. So maybe it's yoga, maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's running, maybe it's walking, maybe it's swimming. So what way, everyone's body likes to move differently, and different types of movement will benefit you, if you like it, to do it. So for me, it's Pilates. I have tried yoga. It's just a little bit too slow for me because I'm a bit of a, right, we got to get going. And I like to feel that my muscles are working. And it's not to say I don't, enjoy the benefits of yoga, but I do prefer Pilates. But just stretching, even if you're, especially if you're sitting at a computer or you're running after small children or just getting up from the desk, just to stretch, because your body loves to stretch, and just to find a nice movement. And even when it comes to exercise, you don't have to be killing yourself at the gym if you don't like it. Because if you don't like going to the gym and lifting weights and doing all these different classes, then you're not inclined to keep it up. But if you find something that your body enjoys and that you're not, there's a lot of words, focused around exercise that we're punishing our body. If you're not hurting, you're not, it's not really working for you. Like, we need to forget about all those things and find out what works for us. And then we're truly listening to our body. But I want to just go back to the hunger bit. So for me and my body confidence journey, food was a massive area that I had to deal with. And food controlled pretty much everything, I would say, for a period of about, 6 years, especially. And when I discovered body confidence and body confidence coaching, I thought my relationship with food was quite good. I was like, oh yeah, well, if I need to lose a few pounds, I'll go on this massive diet and I probably won't eat anything. But then when I'm not, I'll be fine. I'll just, eat. And, if I have something really, a wedding or anything coming up, I'll just do like massive amount of exercise and I'll starve myself. And it turns out that's not exactly conducive to a great healthy body, because dieting and emotional eating and binge eating and things like that are not exactly good for your body confidence, because we're constantly on an emotional roller coaster. We get an emotional trigger, we start to eat to feel better, and then we feel bad about having eaten, and then it just goes round and round and round, and we need to step away from that cycle. So for me, food controlled everything from when I woke up in the morning. Most of it was always what I can't eat. It was never about what I could eat. It was always about what I can't eat, so diets, when I was on the diet, it told me what to eat. So I would do that, when to eat, what to eat, all these kind of things. And then when I wasn't on the diet, I would just eat anything. And especially the things that I wasn't allowed to eat on the diet. So this toing and froing up and down just wasn't really healthy for me. So before I, went on this journey, I used to eat way too much and feel bloated and uncomfortable. I would ignore any of the pain that would come with that, or the back pain that I was having. I would binge eat because that was the only way I knew how to comfort myself. And having great body confidence is about being able to be, as I said, your own best friend without looking to external factors, because food in the Western world has become so much more than physical nourishment. Like, food is, when we eat, it's to physically nourish our bodies. But for a lot of us, it has become so much more. It's a way of dealing with things that we don't want to deal with, like escapism, from negative feelings. If something has happened to us, if something is said to us, we can just bury ourselves in food and feel that numb feeling. But then we feel all this shame and guilt that we've done that. And the whole idea about, your relationship with food is to separate out the emotions, because sometimes when we're hungry, we may not necessarily be physically hungry. So when I refer to listening to your body, we need to start questioning, what hunger is it? Is it a physical hunger? Can you hear your tummy growling a little bit? We don't want to get too hungry, but we want to start eating when we're just starting to feel hungry. Because if we start to do that, then we are honoring our body, we are honoring what it's saying to us. And that is a massive step to feeling confident, because our bodies, as I said, want to keep us happy and healthy. And what we need to start doing is to start trusting that our bodies can look after us. They're going to tell us when we're hungry. They're going to tell us when we have pain. They're going to tell us when we need to rest, you know? So we need to start listening for that hunger. What is it? And if it's not a physical hunger, what are you looking for? So afterwards, I was really good at acknowledging the pain and saying, okay, well, what happened? You know, do I need to stretch? Do I need to take a painkiller? Just need a hot water bottle? What do I need? And then I realized that food is just for physical hunger. It's not there. It's not going to solve all my, negative emotions. It's not going to solve, what happened to me at work or what such and such person said to me. No, so food is just for physical hunger. And now I have a new relationship with food. And the relationship with food is that it's for physical hunger. And I enjoy food more. I enjoy food because I am slowed down. I'm eating in a more mindful way. And I'm no longer on diets. There's no diets involved. I eat when I'm hungry, and I'm acknowledging the hunger. It may not be at 1 o'clock when it's lunchtime or dinner time or anything like that. I eat when my body is telling me when I'm hungry. And that's how listening to your body can really benefit you to give you more body confidence. So what part of the formula are you going to start implementing right now? So are you going to start smiling at yourself? Are you going to be like that baby in the mirror and just start smiling at yourself? You know, it is scientifically proven that it releases endorphins and starts to make you feel better. And especially like me, try it in traffic, or if someone just cuts you off on the road, it's quite good. You might feel very silly, but it's always a good place to start to smile. Are you going to start writing affirmations? Or you can even make up your own affirmations. Are you going to start looking at your own mindset, looking at where you are right now, and knowing that you have the ability to change your story and change your body story, and to question those self-limiting beliefs and find out really what's holding you back from loving your body? And then I'm just had a total blank there because I was going off on it. Self-compassion. Are you going to start loving yourself and being kind to yourself? And if you hear yourself saying harsh words or negative words, change them around. Just say, no, I am worthy. I am good enough. Be your own best friend. Imagine you are speaking to your best friend when you're speaking to yourself, because that's what body confidence is all about. It is about reconnecting to yourself. It's about being your own best friend, because we want the best for our friends and we want the best for ourselves. And the third thing, are you going to start listening to your body, listening for when you're hungry, listening for, is there a pain, is listening to your gut? Are you just going to stop? Because sometimes when we stop listening to the external noise, really, that goes on around what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what you should look like, what haircut you should have, what dress size you should be, what shoes you should be wearing, what food you need to feed your children, what food you need to feed yourself. If we just stop, pause, and listen to ourselves, you will be far more able to make decisions for yourself and for your own well-being, because you're listening to yourself. Your body knows what you need for health, happiness, and just an amazing life. So we need to reconnect and start listening and trusting our bodies. So I hope you really enjoyed that webinar. And as I said, this isn't maybe I didn't, it's not an overnight thing, getting body confidence, but starting with any of those three things is a really good a really benefit to you, because body confidence is all about being the real you and not comparing yourself to others, and just be, because we're all unique. So if you want to get in touch with me, it's sarahlyonscoaching.com. You can hop on there and get some really good tips. I have a body confidence questionnaire that you can fill out just to see where you are in your body confidence journey right now. And then there's also some tips you can download for a positive body image as well. Or you can follow me on Instagram. It's at the Mammy Coach. And if you do want to have a call with me, do a free discovery 30-minute call, if you just want to talk about where you are or how I can help you. So I would be delighted to answer any of your questions if anyone wants. I'm not sure if anyone has come in with questions, but I would be delighted to. I know we have a little bit of time.
That's fantastic, Sarah. Thanks a million for that. Some really good takeaways there. If you can just stop sharing your screen there, then we can.
Yep.
Thanks a million. Yeah. I just love the whole messaging from you, really. I suppose when helping people to lead a fabulous life. I mean, that in itself is just a fantastic mission, I suppose, of yours.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the most, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because life is hard enough, but if we're connected to ourselves, we can, live a really good life.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just from a recruiter perspective, when we're preparing people to go for interviews or to, get themselves into a positive zone, it really does reflect on how you look and how you feel is how you think about yourself, And we would always say to our interviewees, make sure you smile, because when you're, particularly for online interviews, you may be a bit nervous, the technology, the setup, is somebody going to walk into the room, etc. So you a lot of people have this kind of petrified look on their face, almost terrified. We'll always say, don't forget to smile like you would when you meet somebody in person.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. It's such a good one, because when you're online, that you can't get the energy that you're giving out, or you can't feel their energy. And what would you do in a real situation? You'd walk in, smile, shake their hands, be really personal. But when you're sitting in front of a camera, it's like, oh my God. So just smile, and it instantly relaxes everything in the body. It's literally just a great way to start an interview, is just to smile.
Absolutely. And we're all guilty of it. When I'm listening intently, I do tend to have a terrible resting bitch face, so but I have to work on that myself. But when you are listening intently, sometimes you can have, and you don't realize it, but you might have a stern look, so just
I know
work on that. I love that. Speak to yourself like you would speak to your best friend. I think that's fantastic advice. We're all guilty of being so hard on ourselves.
So hard.
Especially mums, I think,
and I see that so often in clients. It's like, there is no measuring tape for being a good mom, or being a good person, or being, we just have to do our best. Everyone is doing their best. And you may have a different view on it, or you do parenting differently, you do motherhood differently. And that's the joy of life, that we're all different. But there is no stick. I used to think, I have to be this, I was running around the place and going mental with the pram. I was like, oh my God, I need, because I saw all these other women doing it. And I was like, well, I obviously need to be like that, whereas I was like, what's going on here? But if we just stop and just to be ourselves, because we do have the ability to, parent well and be a good mother. And if you're even thinking that you're not a great mother, or you're questioning yourself, you are a great mother. To even be thinking about that, am I doing the right thing? You are a great mother. We're all doing our best.
Yeah. And a quote that I use with my own children, comparison is the thief of joy, and I think that is so true. When you're looking on Instagram and, you're seeing how wonderful some people seem to be doing, and they're leading this fabulous life, baking, making their own clothes, and seem to be doing everything, you're kind of going like, oh my God, I'm not doing half of that, but you can't compare yourself to an Instagram feed, which a lot of people do. And even myself, I've actually stopped following some people because they get me down, because they're doing so much and they're so flippin' brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. So, Instagram is it's a curse sometimes, really, but then you can curate it to be your own, to be a positive feed. And like that, I've had to unfollow an awful lot of people because I was like, what's this feeling that I'm getting? And it was like, oh, you're not feeling good about yourself. Okay, well, they have to go then. If anything that you see is not making you feel good, unfollow, because it's just, and your life is so much better because all you're seeing are the nice things that you want to see.
Yeah.
And we have the ability. I think sometimes when you follow people, you're like, oh, kind of, you're stuck in there for life, but that's not the case at all. You can just unfollow. They don't care, it's fine.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. So a couple of questions coming in here. So one is, self-limiting beliefs are very hard to break. What would you do to start this process?
Okay, well, when we talk about self-limiting beliefs, they are the beliefs about ourselves that are stopping us from, moving on with our life, or stopping us living our fabulous life, as I say. So breaking self-limiting beliefs is a process. But the best thing to start with is questioning if it's true. So this belief that you have thought all your life, or in recent times, or anything, what is this belief? Like, maybe I can't run. Like, if we really question that, like, is that true? So yeah, can you have the use of your legs, you can put one foot in front of the other, can you run? Yes, would probably be the answer. But you're thinking, you're comparing yourself again to the people that have probably been doing it most of their lives, who are training, you know what I mean? But then you're saying, well, I can't do that. But that's a self-limiting belief. But we can do anything we put our minds to. So it's to say to yourself, ask yourself, is this true? Is it really true? And how do I know it's true? Because a lot of the times our self-limiting beliefs are stories that have been told to us in our younger life, or we've kind of built up. Like, maybe one thing has happened, then we said, oh, I can never do that again. No, can't do that. And then we've limited ourselves and then, that's not truly living. That's not living up to your potential. It's not living up to what you need from life, or what you expect out of life. So yeah, is it true? Is it really true? And how do I know it's true? Because a lot, sometimes we just accept it as being, oh yeah, well, that's just true. You're too tall, you're too short. Yeah, okay. But that's not going to stop you. If you change your mind about it and start to question, can you do it? Then you'll be able to start the process, because sometimes it's not true. It's just something it's in our subconscious mind, and we've been playing the tape over and over again. And now it's time to change the tape, that it's not true, and we're going to move on to something else.
Very good. So another question come in here. Is it really possible to have a good relationship with food and not be dieting all the time?
Well, yes, is the answer. I have done it myself, because I just think everything around us is telling us what to do. Again, the comparison. You need to be a certain size. You need to be a certain shape. This is the ideal shape. Like, I'm an image consultant as well as doing this. And, we were taught that the ideal, or the most desirable shape, was an hourglass. And at the start, you accept these things and you kind of go, and you're like, hang on, we're all, do you know what I mean? We all, and then we're striving for this particular shape. And it's like, okay, well, we're all different. But yes, to stop comparing yourself to other people, because when we are in a relationship with food, you might think you're not in a relationship with food, but especially in the Western world, we're surrounded by food. It's advertising. You can't even pull into a petrol station anymore without sweets and food and coffee. It's everywhere. And it is possible, because once you discover what you're really hungry for and what you really want out of food, because a lot of the time we're looking for other things. And once you just, decide, discover what you're hungry for, and that's, it's called the 5 hungries. That's when you dive deep into what you're looking for. Is it spiritual? Is it emotional? Is it like mindset? What are you looking for in life? because our go-to thing is food, because it's the most convenient thing. It's there. We want to bury our emotions in it. So it's to remove the emotions from the physicality of food, which is to keep us alive. And that's its job. It's not there to soothe our emotions. It's not there to, comfort us as a comfort blanket. It's there for physical nourishment. But you still, once you establish, a different relationship with food, you enjoy food more. So it can be done, but that relationship with food is looking for what you're really hungry for, because the dieting aspect, we're so conditioned for Weight Watchers and Slimming World and points and calories and all these kind of things. If we just stop all that for 1 minute and say, okay, I'm going to connect to myself here. What do I need? Your body's automatic response is to look for the good food. It's what's keeping, it will crave the nourishing foods that's going to keep you healthy. And it's again about changing the story. Maybe food was quite negative for you as a child. There was foods you couldn't eat, foods you could eat. You know what I mean? That food was used as an emotional tool. And it's just about getting out of that cycle. So yes is the answer. Sorry.
As you're saying there, like it's the holistic approach, isn't it? Like it's all connected, mind, body, soul, and
absolutely.
To
absolutely it is
those dots really and make sure that
that we're all connected. Yeah, because when we're in alignment, we're flying it.
Yeah.
And we're not in alignment all the time. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes some things will be out, but if we can do our best just to, really connect to ourselves and what we want out of life, and, it works out better.
I suppose, it is when life throws those curveballs at you that things may wobble a bit, I suppose, but how would you keep on track then when those things happen?
Exactly. It's when, life is going to happen. Life is hard and things do happen, but it's not to, like I was saying, being your own best friend there in times of failure. Even you can learn from failure, but when things happen, a disaster might happen, a family, someone might be sick, but that's okay. It's not, you don't have to berate yourself for, going off track, as they say, or, you do what you need to do to survive in those situations. But that's only for a short period of time. We need to learn the tools to get us back out and get us back to our happiest, healthiest self. That's what we, instead of saying, right, I'm going to have a bad day. This is what happened. I'm going to live here. I'm just camping out. This is where we're going to live. No, you just have to learn the tools to get yourself back out of it. And it can be done.
Yeah. And I suppose that's where coaches like yourself, Sarah, come in. Like I would always, everyone should have a coach anyway, I believe.
Oh, absolutely.
I have one myself.
And that's why I started the Mammy Coach, because I was like, do you know what moms are missing? They're missing a coach, because you can get a coach for, the gym. You can get a coach for your health. You can get a coach for your career. You can get a coach for public speaking. And I was like, well, hold on here. Mommies don't have a coach. So I was like, that's why I focused on that, because I felt that's what I needed. I had done a lot of, work, but I was kind of stuck. I was like, how do we move out of this to get to here? I just didn't know how to move forward. So that's why I'm so passionate about getting people, or getting women and moms to move forward.
Yeah. And, it can be a very lonely place as well, for a lot of moms as well, and a lot of moms as well. I feel, they feel as if they have to do everything, but they also have to be strong. And then they feel they can't talk to anybody and show their weaknesses, so that's again where I think coaches like yourself are invaluable, because it's a safe place for them to
absolutely
get all that out and get advice and learn the tools, I suppose, to
it is. I'm a very practical person. Like, I'm very about, I will give you this so you can, if you end up in the situation again, this is how you're going to get yourself out of it. And then just teaching, like I love to teach people how to, start loving themselves, how they can be great moms, like even though they are great moms already, but it's reinforcing that thinking that you are great no matter what happens. And I always feel like that by teaching moms, you're teaching the rest of the world, really, because we're going to pass it on. And as I said, we're our children's biggest influencers, even though they might think it's Instagram, but what they learn at home and what they learn from you is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a couple more questions coming in here. Just keep an eye on time, a few more minutes. Thanks coming in there. Thanks, Sarah. Great tips. Love the message. An anonymous attendee has a question. She's any ideas on why I'm happy and healthy when I'm single, and a few weeks into a relationship I put on weight and quickly. I'm divorced and this seems to be my cycle. Does this mean, does it mean that actually this relationship is not for me? And if I find the right person, I will not pile the weight on. So she seems to pile the weight on when she's in a relationship.
Okay. All right. There's a lot going on in that. Sometimes when we start a relationship, or we're, you know, at the start of, you know, that nice, you know, first couple of weeks, we tend to relax. So if this lady has been restricting what she's eating along the way, and then all of a sudden you relax and you're in this endorphin state of, right, I'm in love, or I'm, you know, you feel happier. Yeah, that could be the key. That, you know, I don't know whether she's on a diet all the time, and then all of a sudden you're going out, or you're, do you know, that kind of way, you're doing things, you're eating out, you're eating together, that you do tend to relax and the diet doesn't become as important. So I would say that's most likely to do with her relationship with food, more so than the relationship. There's a trigger obviously somewhere along there that needs to be looked at, but I would say that it is more to do with it's herself, you know, just to work on herself a little bit, because if she's saying it's a pattern or a cycle, it can be broken, and we just need to establish what's triggering, you know, either that she's restricting her calories or restricting her food, or what is going on there. That's what I would say to yeah, I'd say if there's a trigger somewhere.
Yeah, probably need to dive deeper into that.
Dive deep into that, absolutely. But it is, if it is a pattern and she knows it's a pattern, that's a really good start, because sometimes people come to me and they don't realize that they're in a pattern of, you know, either just not loving themselves or not liking themselves. They just, and then things are happening around them and they're not realizing that it's almost their behavior, or, but the fact that she knows it's a pattern, that's a really good start for her. That's a really good start, because you're acknowledging the pattern. And
Yeah.
if she wants, you know, it is able, are able to get out of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Great advice there, Sarah. Listen, again, a huge thank you for giving up your time today.
Thank you so much.
For anybody who wasn't able to get to this, we'll be putting it up on YouTube so people can view it afterwards as well. So we'll send you the link for that. So thanks for everybody for coming and for participating, and we shall see you all again soon. And again, a huge thanks to the Mammy Coach. You can find her again on Instagram and
at Mammy Coach, yeah, or sarahlyonscoaching.com if you want to reach out there.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Sarah, and have a great day.
No problem, Karen. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.